Oprah Winfrey didn't raise her voice, but her whisper carried the weight of an earthquake. One quiet double tap on Instagram, liking a post that applauded Tyler Perry's Stand for Boundaries, and a single sentence on her podcast. True friends repay blessings with gratitude, not invoices, were all it took to spin the Hollywood rumor mill into overdrive. Fans felt the ground shift beneath their timelines. If Oprah, the unofficial referee of pop culture morality, was leaning toward Perry's side, something bigger than a petty feud was blooming behind the velvet curtains of fame. To understand the shockwave, roll back 6 nights to the 25th BET Awards. Glittering gowns, viral performances, a few politically charged acceptance speeches, typical award show fodder, until Tyler Perry, Hollywood's famously soft-spoken titan, stepped to the microphone. Instead of the usual motivational pep talk, he delivered a parable. "Some folks," he murmured, eyes scanning the crowd, "borrow blessings like they're owed. No names, no specifics. But every phone in the building lit up, and every gossip account online screamed the same conclusion. He was talking about Meghan Markle. It stung because Perry had once been the Duchess's American miracle. Back in March 2020, when Harry and Meghan shed their royal duties, Tyler Perry quietly handed them the gate code to his $18 million Beverly Ridge estate. He covered a security bill that spiraled past 7 figures and told them to stay as long as they needed. 4 months, drones buzzed above the mansion while the couple planned their reboot. Deals with Netflix, Spotify, and Penguin Random House soon followed, rumored to be worth north of $150 million. Yet money reshapes every story. Gratitude that once felt sincere began to feel transactional. First came a request to hitch a ride on Perry's private jet for a quick panel in New York. Then rumors surfaced that Meghan casually name-dropped Perry's supposed backing while courting investors for a new media venture. Investors later discovered Perry hadn't agreed to any such partnership. Each incident felt minor until they clumped together and detonated as subtext in Perry's BET monologue. His neatly clipped words landed like a surgeon's scalpel, exposing a pattern of entitlement and quiet IOUs. The crowd, celebrities and executives who'd once toasted the Sussexes, froze, then buzzed. Meghan's champions scrambled to draft a response. Her critics poured digital champagne and hit record on TikTok. Enter Oprah. For years, she'd been the couple's fiercest public ally. She produced the explosive 2021 interview that recast Meghan as a silent survivor of palace intrigue. She welcomed the Sussexes to glitzy galas, toasted Perry as baby Lilibet's godfather, and opened social doors that even royal titles couldn't budge in Hollywood. So when Oprah broke rank, even in her famous understated way, insiders felt a cultural plate shift. Within hours, the cryptic proverb clip dominated YouTube recommendation feeds. A hashtag urging gratitude trended worldwide. Commentators called it the quiet verdict. Hollywood listens for whispers louder than it does for press releases, and Oprah's nod rippled into boardrooms the very next morning. A development executive placed the Sussexes' forthcoming documentary series on hold pending optics. A veteran producer who'd sat through 2 pitch meetings pulled out, texting colleagues. Drama this early is a red flag. Perry's parable sent tremors. Oprah's echo turned them into rolling quakes. Inside Meghan's Santa Barbara headquarters, phones rang off their desks. Advisors drafted talking points framing Perry as hurt, misinformed, maybe even jealous. But mainstream outlets balked. If Oprah wasn't buying the spin, neither would morning TV. Late that night, Meghan reportedly fired off emotional messages accusing Perry of betrayal and sabotage. Perry answered none of them. His silence grew louder than any paparazzi flashbulb. The opening fissure had widened into a canyon, and part 2 would show how quickly allies disappear when the richest voice in the room decides that silence speaks louder than defense. Hollywood runs on early morning phone calls, and on this wake-up call of a Monday, every conversation sounded the same. Pick a side. Studio chiefs, talent agents, and streaming wizards treated the Tyler-Meghan rift like a sudden stock market dip. Measure exposure, hedge losses, abandon risky assets. Oprah's subtle endorsement tipped the financial barometer. By lunchtime, at least 3 powerful gatekeepers, one at a major agency, 2 at competing studios, had quietly downgraded Meghan's open door status. No one wanted their next blockbuster overshadowed by a loyalty scandal. Behind closed doors, whispers filled in missing puzzle pieces. Word leaked that Oprah herself had felt uneasy months before, noticing Meghan's habit of invoking her name while pitching new projects. Oprah reportedly reached out to Perry to compare notes. Both realized they'd experienced the same sequence: heartfelt favor, prolonged gratitude gap, then quiet exploitation. That private revelation forged a quiet alliance that now stood firm in the public eye. Meanwhile, Meghan's crisis management consultants kicked into overdrive. The prescription: flood social feeds with positivity, candid dog-walking photos, philanthropic soundbites, Harry laughing with wounded veterans. The strategy fizzled. Instead of uplift, comment sections brimmed with variations of "pay your debts first." Optimistic fluff became white noise. And when white noise is all you have, silence dominates the conversation. Streaming executives, always slaves to data, started crunching numbers. View-through rates on trailers featuring the Sussexes ticked downward. Audience sentiment, algorithms, flagged Meghan-centric promos with orange caution triangles. In an economy where every recommendation click matters, orange is the new scarlet letter. Even Harry's extended circle felt the tremors. A former military comrade discreetly turned down a cameo in a planned Archwell docuseries, privately citing messy optics. Headlines framed it as proof the prince's inner circle was thinning. Loyal supporters argue the soldier was never officially on board. Skeptics saw blood in the water. Oprah, for her part, kept it classy and sparse. One gentle proverb here, a knowing nod there. She didn't clap back at Meghan publicly, nor did she retweet shady memes. She simply refrained from propping up a narrative she no longer trusted. In Oprah speak, absence equals indictment. By midweek, executives gathered for a hush-hush roundtable to weigh risk. Question: is partnering with Meghan worth the backlash? Consensus: unlikely. Not because her content lacked buzz, scandal sells, but because every new project risked being framed as another unreturned favor. In Hollywood arithmetic, reputational debt devalues future earnings faster than a box office bomb. Then came the internal bombshell. A mid-level producer resigned from Meghan's team and blasted a lengthy farewell email to colleagues. The note slammed a culture of transactional gratitude, where praise flowed up the ladder and accountability trickled down. Leakage was inevitable. Within hours, the email lit up Reddit and spilled into podcast rundowns. Overnight, Meghan's public portrait shifted yet again, from silenced duchess to demanding boss. Tyler Perry, still the eye of the storm, issued only a single sentence to Variety: "I wish everyone healing and responsibility." It read like a locked door. For Meghan's camp, there was no handle on that door, only their own echoing frustration. Yet the biggest blow was still money-shaped. Financial planners traced potential fallout: suspended docuseries, paused podcast spin-offs, a children's animation project quietly shelved. Investors, skittish after Oprah's tacit condemnation, preferred safer bets. Deals once pitched as slam dunks suddenly required new rounds of due diligence. The second act of this saga wasn't just about burnt feelings. It was about burnt currency, emotional and literal. And part 3 would reveal how those embers threatened to ignite a spectacular financial wildfire. In Hollywood, loyalty is measured in dollars, and dollars are tracked by spreadsheets. By Friday, Meghan's foundation ordered an all-hands budget integrity review. The translation was brutal: freeze new hires, postpone fresh initiatives, comb every line item for leaks. 2 podcast spin-offs slipped from in production to on hold. A planned children's animation lost its time slot. When investor confidence evaporates, creative dreams dehydrate instantly. Streaming platforms followed suit. A mid-tier service that had courted Meghan for a glossy lifestyle series abruptly shifted priorities. Board members fear the show would spend more time defending its hosts than teaching audiences how to feng shui their closets. The ghost of last year's collapsed Spotify deal resurfaced in think pieces musing about red flags we all missed. Patterns, critics said, have a way of repeating when lessons go unlearned. Digital sentiment provided measurable proof. A social listening firm tracked a 30+% plunge in favorable mentions of the Sussex brand over 12 months, with the steepest cliff dive appearing in the 48 hours after Oprah's podcast quote. Hashtags. A once read hashtag "We Love Meghan" morphed into hashtag "Decade" faster than you could refresh a feed. Even devoted fan subreddits locked comment threads to keep infighting at bay. When your own community needs moderators to stem the bleeding, brand warmth has left the building. Inside their Montecito enclave, Harry reportedly urged a lower profile. Friends whisper that he's exhausted, caught between defending his wife and acknowledging the grievances of people who once sheltered them. According to one confidant, Harry described Perry's speech as devastating because it came from family. Emotional fatigue, now mingled with financial stress, a combustible cocktail. Oprah and Perry moved forward. Picking up the shards of the spectacle, they quietly organized a storytellers fund designed to uplift underrepresented filmmakers. They structured the grant around the value of reciprocity. Give where gratitude grows. Hollywood insiders couldn't miss the shade. Yet even cynics admitted the gesture aligned with the duo's ethos. Turn pain into purpose, critique into creation. Radio hosts debated a new phrase, clout debt, likening social favors to interest-bearing loans. High school debate teams latched onto the ethics of transactional friendships, citing Perry's parable as modern folklore. Church sermons quoted the line about borrowed blessings. The story transcended gossip and became a mirror, inviting audiences to reflect on their own give-and-take equations. Behind the scenes, Meghan's crisis consultants drafted 3 escape routes. Option A: offer a heartfelt apology, publicly acknowledging Perry's generosity and vowing transparency. Option B: stage a dramatic rebrand, pivot to low-key charity work, no cameras, no glitz. Option C: threaten legal pushback, framing Perry's speech as defamation by implication. Reports suggest Meghan vetoed Option A, arguing she would never apologize for living her truth. Option B stalled when brand advisors insisted a humility arc required visible contrition. Option C hit a wall. One can't sue someone for describing an unnamed friend. With the playbook shredded, a luxury fashion house quietly nixed negotiations for Meghan to front a sustainable style campaign. In internal memos, marketers coined a fresh risk metric: Markleability. The higher the score, the greater the volatility. A year earlier, the same metric predicted high engagement. Now it measured potential fallout. Ironically, the clearest winner in the saga was Tyler Perry. His studio slated a film trilogy celebrating acts of unreciprocated kindness. Oprah's network announced a companion docuseries on restorative generosity. Industry wags wondered aloud if Hollywood had witnessed the birth of a new moral economy subgenre, stories about the cost of ingratitude. As summer drifted in, the Sussexes receded from headlines, but the cautionary tale remained etched in industry memory. Agents reminded fledgling stars that bridge-burning travels faster than box office receipts. Managers advised A-listers to measure favors in personal, not transactional, currency. The scandal, once gossip, hardened into guideline. In the finale of any good story, the lesson lands with subtle force. This time it arrived as a whispered reminder: generosity demands gratitude, and when the scales tip too far, even fairy tales fracture. No palace walls, podcast deals, or triumphant brand slogans can shield against the quiet power of a helping hand that grows weary of being taken for granted. In an era when reputations are minted in seconds and ruined in milliseconds, kindness left unpaid is the one bill fame cannot outrun. The last image lingers, a stage bathed in soft BET award lights. Perry pausing after his parable, Oprah's approving nod echoing louder than applause. Somewhere in the distance, the fairy tale castle Meghan built out of narratives and alliances trembles. Not because of a tabloid headline or a royal decree, but because the bedrock principle of reciprocity finally demanded its due. And so the credits roll, not on a prince and princess banished to exile, but on a universal truth newly spotlighted. Debts of the heart carry compound interest, and when they come due, even royalty must pay up, or watch their kingdom crumble one whispered blessing borrowed at a time.